Chapter 224, Huang Tianba. Zhu Tui waited at the Research Institute number 14 until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Financial Inspector Li Yuanen arrived on time with a cloud of fragrance. He took the electronic signature that Zhao Soxui had transferred over and went straight to look for Li Yuanen. Inspector Li, can you sign it online in the future? I'll transfer the document to you directly. If you sign online, I'll go and collect the supplies. This is a waste of time, Zhu Tui complained. No, this is a rule of the Genetic Research Institute. I can't violate it. I have to review the list. After all the cultivation fluids in the incubation chamber and all the materials that need to be replaced are provided by the Genetic Research Institute. Li Yuanen was still very principled in this regard. All right, hurry up then. Zhu Tui had only figured it out recently. The Genetic Research Institute divided the research funds of the Research Institute number 14 into 2 parts. A large portion was the short-term research funds that Zhu Tui had fought for previously, as well as the long-term fixed research funds related to the abnormal load of mind power. It was 50 to 80 million a year. Previously, Zhu Tui felt that the Genetic Research Institute was a little petty. It seemed that many people valued long-term research projects that involved abnormal loads of mind power. But why were the funds allocated so little? Actually, there was another big piece, which was the allocation of resources. For example, the cultivation fluid used in the cultivation chamber, the consumables needed to be replaced, and the energy supply. These were all collected by Zhu Tui in the supply office of the Genetic Research Institute. They did not take up the research funds of the number 14 Research Institute. In that case, the funds that the Genetic Research Institute allocated to the Research Institute number 14 Institute in a year would definitely exceed 100 million. The cost of the cultivation fluid and various materials was huge. The energy consumption was also a huge expenditure. Li Yuanen, the financial inspector, specialized in supervising and reviewing these things. For example, the frequency at which materials were replaced. In the past, Zhu Tui would collect the discarded materials and hand them over to the specialized personnel. Now, Zhu Tui had packed those bags and handed them over to Li Yuanen for her to check and destroy. As a result, when Zhu Tui changed the incubator's cultivation fluid and various consumables, Li Yuanen was like a shadow. She followed behind Zhu Tui and he felt a little uncomfortable. Occasionally, Li Yuanen would lend a hand. By the way, where's Superintendent Han? Li Yuanen suddenly asked while they were working. That was because she realized that Zhao Soxui was not around this afternoon, and Zhao Soxui was usually around. She went out to do something in the afternoon. I don't know what she went to do, Zhu Tui replied casually. He did not mind. What Zhu Tui did not notice was that Li Yuanen's gaze had shifted. Time to be alone. This was a rare moment when she was alone with Zhu Tui. After hesitating for a moment, Li Yuanen made a decision. After all, Vice Chairman Liu was a little anxious. About an hour later, Zhu Tui, who had finished his work, rushed to the changing room. This job was purely physical work. Zhu Tui could do physical labor, but he had to put on a full-body protective suit. The protective suit was like a stuffy tank. He felt like he had just been fished out of the water after an hour. He had expended a lot of energy. Zhu Tui ran to the changing room and sat down on the ground. He pulled off his protective suit and took off his protective helmet. Sweat dripped from his hair as he breathed heavily. Previously, when he was wearing the breathing valve, he could not breathe properly. It was stirring. Of course, this was also because Zhu Tui was in a hurry. In the past, Zhu Tui would rest for a while in between. He would not feel tired even if he took an hour and a half to 2 hours. He had settled it in an hour today because he was in a hurry. And Zhao Soxui was not at the Research Institute number 14 this afternoon, but Li Yuanen was at the Research Institute number 14. Zhu Tui wanted to finish his work quickly and leave. He did not want to stay any longer. However, Li Yuanen, who was also wearing a protective suit, followed Zhu Tui in. Li Yuanen had been wearing protective gear when she followed Zhu Tui to check on the supplies. However, Li Yuanen did not do much physical work, so she was not tired. The moment she pulled open the protective suit, a strong perfume smell rushed out. It smelled especially good. Even though Zhu Tui was a little tired, he could not help but sniff twice. Li Yuanen took off her protective suit and threw it into the trash can. Even Zhu Tui did not notice that there was an opened bottle of perfume in the protective suit. The moment she threw it down, an indescribable fragrance spread out again. At this moment, Li Yuanen had just stretched her limbs in front of Zhu Tui. Zhu Tui did not mind. He just felt that the fragrance was too pleasant. He could not help but take a few more sniffs. Almost at the same time, the way he looked at Li Yuanen changed. Li Yuanen had always been dressed very sexily and exquisitely. At this moment, when he smelled the fragrance and was stimulated by the inexplicable fragrance, Zhu Tui felt an inexplicable urge to move. Zhu Tui felt his cheeks begin to heat up, and his entire body began to heat up. The adolescent urges that he would have in the past suddenly became extremely intense at this moment. At that moment, Zhu Tui had the urge to pull Li Yuanen into his arms and ravage her. He wanted to test her amazing elasticity and beauty. No! What happened to me? Zhu Tusa hukashi ability. His strong will podwari, his mind. Hetri dis bestility who Celia red become 9999 plus. Takionera plerioi. Li Yuan han dexible. This will live a lephisteri. It was go tora plishi. However, has still had a sevintink. Zudawildna variation. Thank you. Ehave me own. Zudwa rejectifully. He took off his wheat so cad protective istrition. However, he had trothra thusit. Just axutua sachet wait waberdu. Liuan ancidentidary. Let me throw it. Zuduid not refuse. Shuas justil pingth. Hericha dudendrendrade ender. Liuan awas no schwershen efward westwes. However, the momenturosity shedok the operation wine. In an instant, Zuda filtasa fetchebebedibangchebe. His center rebottibled. A huga pimedialip. Zudu instinctive valcherichichichicha. Liuan slislifing clink. It beg onto Suvastan. His lipstrom bedalivi. Hetri disbestistall. However, heckold thelpabundi wanchel. Astrangel litfelishini, what are you doing? However, event the schwezink, herbo dibkenskoncheli, shivan tuk the thievishan, from thingliofishanchuls, zudawadkan kenthishuatiavashisha, zudu instant lifiate wabi baltwabi, hifelti kevazen, it was instant libidility, theflamest Italiane, wavifter wavia fute, just axuchuasasha butchel, a furious shoutredung. Damn it, Yusha molesperson. Inoi hadillant. A large bucketafushuetra sprucher was, woha justa jalini. Itin stant ladrex chichuchinchist. Italson stantlixing. Before akshua kodishwart wat washidwa. A tall, slender one handfuls. It wasn't tankshikshu, that was suchuas fourth. Wat opened nexitum. The long-legged woman house pwady 14 as extra melithals. The kikto her faciency. Then, the long-legged woman pounched Wayne Chuan Chuan Shui. Shesitan Liu and Sichindi. The punch did not at alike. However, with just an inch, Liu and Snowsaboard Enquebonk. Herfasane Stantples. FCAC. Wodol Diotoberi. Bang! Uistral. You cold of Vestindations. Beauty you actual isndak. Bang! Sheker Sedan Punch. Liu and Shoulda save Ozelsum, Butunder Thevian Thunt, Legged Woman, a few punchesquisadi conscious state. Huanderdo how Vaishavi, Zutu Iwastand, Huas compleasandi. Hanature aliundis thrav. However, how is this long-legged woman wadazi? Zutu I had never known that there was Sucha person in the Research Institute number 14. FCAC, Howder Yodo Dawson Torbade, Ilhamariuta Data, the long-legged womansa mespt. Furthermore, because of Thywar Bonthwamo, Shua Sextrumlishals, Asheckerst, Shepen Chedley Ashens, Liu and Skria Meeting Pain. FCAC, luckily Isher. Otherwise, you Walda Hesed, Ashecker Seedendhaired, Zuduai Sudden Lize Malding, Huas Familiar Ol Legged Womans Desepisal Bivik, Huan, Zudu was puzzled. Are you awake? The long-legged woman Sudian, you idiot, this woman'll must wait thee. It must be Huang. However, Zudu was still confused. Huan, how did Shesha Masantes? Waddle Sakuldib, an aphrodisiac for him, Shepen Chedliation Chans. A Huang Wohatran then Tasums, Legjadwo Mancity. Shedo Kotabata or Fafefedum. If you don't believe, gon testidi or fulf. There shy puriter omonicids. At the same time, a Huangel zosentation. Zuda broke outish and feischwat weischwatidu. If it were rent for on, the consequenceable dwe von wan vans, a Huang becameving. FCAC, howder yusha sushimi, iltiacualecity. As a Huankerst, shepen chedliation chance. However, this time, themo monthyros fins, vividosis lendisportes. Bang! Kai, afubo nesbizi paishan. In the next mint, the semi-conscious leonally shattering scream. Shirchaberto bodalik hotshrim pandalasushan. Zudis akednik abort. A Huang's method wezel. This was the first chitazi. Was Tysken sirfid. However, this method was sufal bait. For the first time, Zutu fil thought affordant.